extremely mad last night. There's two male nurses. The one is, I don't know what they call him. He's there every night, or he has been the last 3 nights. He don't do a whole lot. I think he's kind of in charge of the other nurses. The other one I'd never seen before. And Levi started, he takes his pills to sleep. Ooh, it's cool out here tonight. Yeah, it's kind of cold. Not cold, it's kind of cool. So Levi gets his pills at 9 o'clock. And that's what the nurses have told us, what's on their books. That's what they come in and they say, okay, Levi, 9 o'clock, ready for your night pills, night meds, what do they call them? Well, that little guy sat behind that desk. I could see him in there. I knew he was the nurse because I'd gone to the bathroom or something, and I come back in and he was in there. And number one, I don't mind, giving Levi, they were giving him Miralax. And kind of just try to make sure he's clean before he gets up. He's not ever been a good wiper. That's why he takes baths after he goes to the bathroom. He knows that. So, I'm his mom. I don't mind. That's my job. Well, he literally looked like he wasn't to do it. He goes, well, here's the wipes. And I said, well, you hate to say your 30-year-old son doesn't wipe very good, but he's laying there in a hospital gown. He does not even have shorts on. So if he just was making, I didn't care for him. I didn't care for him. Okay, but then 9 o'clock came. No big deal. They're not in there yet, right? They haven't come in yet. 9:30 came. And every now and then I could see him walk by. We were watching TV. I could see him walk by. I just thought, well, there's probably a lot going on. There's a lot of people there sicker than Levi right now. And I don't know, when I say sicker than Levi, I forget just how sick he was, but there's old people. Really old people that are there for the reason of that floor, which is cardiovascular. So, I don't know. Hold on one second. I got to get in this truck. I don't know. They had heart attacks. Do I have a pimple? No, I don't. I have a stupid jowl. Oh, I have jowls. Evidently this morning, more than ever before, jowls are popping up on me. Anyway. And he goes, he'd say, Levi talk. They're giving me night times. I said, yes, they're going to give you night times. They're just busy, baby. Give them a second. There's a lot of old people here that are very, very sick. Okay. I finally had to open the door. I'm not even turning on here right now. I'm cold. Oh, I forgot I needed gas. Okay, well, anyway. I finally, at 10:30, had to slide the door open and say, it's 10:30, he needs his night meds. Well, the one little, I don't know if you call him a floor nurse. No. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not a nurse. I don't know all the definitions of them. He just looks over at the other guy. I'm thinking, well, are you in charge of something? That guy's just sitting, at that moment, he's just sitting behind that long nurse's station desk, looking at a computer. It irritated me so bad. Okay, so then he comes in and he goes, well, he has a speech impediment, I guess. Which is fun, because Lord knows Levo's got one. But I couldn't understand him on several things. I couldn't understand him. And I said, I'm sorry, I didn't understand you. And he'd say it again. Well, he wanted to know, does he have to have them crushed? So now we've already had an issue with, whether he's going to wipe him or not wipe him or help wipe, which I don't want anybody to help wipe. But I don't want to sound hateful, like I don't want a guy wiping my son, because a nurse is a nurse is a nurse. I believe that. But some of them just don't have, well, this is how irritated I am. It's when I can't put a seatbelt on. Okay, we finally get night times. He comes in. I said, no, he doesn't, we don't crush them. He takes them. He come over and he sits them all down. And then he goes, he said something, and I said, well, usually the nurse puts them in a cup. He just had like these 3 or 4 pills, 2 melatonin, his 2 melatonin, his clonidine, and these 2 Zyrtec they tried to give him in the morning, and I said, I don't even know why he's taking 2. But fine, whatever. I will discuss all that with the doctor today. Why is he taking 2? We may not even be here much longer. I pray we're not going to be here much longer. If it wasn't for that tube, we wouldn't need anybody's assistance for anything except for bringing his meds in. And I know it's a pain in the butt to have to ask somebody, oh, well, he's got to pee. But that's their job. He's in the hospital with a tube in him. That's their job. I don't know. It seemed like it was annoying him to have to come help him get out of bed. Or whatever. But then, like I said, at 10:30, I have to open the door and say, oh, he needs his meds, his night meds. And that Brian, which is that guy, that head nurse dude for nighttime or whatever he is, he just looks over at him like, I guess that's your job and you're, whatever. This is the first night, the whole first night since we've been here, that I was so unhappy with these people. I have been so, I don't like to sit still. I don't like to just sit there and watch them. I know that's their job. But, if they've got him up and he's peeing, then I'm going to straighten his bed and sit, I'm going to do a few things. The other nurses have been so anyway, I've kind of learned to get a feel if they're willing to let me do some things instead of just sit there, watch a nurse wipe my son's rear end, or, sort of adjust the bed or make the bed when he gets up, fix the covers back so when he gets back in. I get the kind of the ones that are all for, Mom, do what you want to do. We know it's hard for you up here, blah, blah, blah. We don't mind. And then there's the ones that, well, this is my job, so I need to sit back and not interfere. But then you get a nurse in there. It looks like you don't want to. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know what he thought. Okay, so Levi had been all day without oxygen. They're trying to wean him off the oxygen. I'm all for weaning him off the oxygen. As long as his numbers stay up all day, I think that's good. 94, 95, 98, 99 sometimes. Awesome. No oxygen, and that's what his numbers are. But night before last, when we got into going to bed, it was kind of about the time he went to sleep. And we don't lay him down. He's still inclined, but a little bit less. Somewhere around 30%. 30 degrees. I'm so sorry. I am tired. So He don't even get his nighttime till 10:30. So he's still kind of, it takes about an hour for everything to kick in. Almost midnight. Now, he's over there and he's watching a movie and it's down quiet and everything's good. He's had his pills now. Shouldn't have to mess with that guy again for a while. And all of a sudden, it's about a little after midnight, a little after. Meh. And it is not a beep. Beep, beep, beep. It's a dadgum honking sound. Meh. 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 And I sit up really fast and look up at that thing, and it says his oxygen is doing this flutter thing, 88, 87, 86. It's beeping, and it's slightly 85, and then it would stop, and it would go up into the 90s. So I checked his little toe thing. But you have to remember, the night before, it had done the same thing. And that nurse came in about after the second time, not the second honk, but when it kind of went low and then it came up to normal, then it went low again. She came in and she said, let's just put the oxygen on him. He's not going to be able to even get a decent night's sleep hearing this all night. Because they want to see what he can do on his own, but at the same time, we can see that he can bring it, it'll come back up on its own. Whether that's during a snore or whatever that is, but that alarm is loud. Now, I don't know. She didn't turn the alarm off or do something up here to turn it off. She just went ahead and put his oxygen back on him. They get things out there. They know what's happening out there because sometimes that little thing will pop up there. It says, monitor, it doesn't say turned off. It says remotely. It says something remotely, not activated either. But it lets me, I know that they've already seen what's going on their monitors, what's going on in here. You can't hear that? It's been going on now for 30 minutes. 30 minutes of no oxygen or low oxygen, then burst back up to high. You get a minute or two, then low oxygen for 30 minutes. And every time it did it, that baby said, I'm okay. I'm okay. Because he knows that by now we check him when the alarms go off. Every time. I'm thinking, how is he going to... I'd like to sleep too, but how is he going to sleep? You didn't bring him his pills till, an hour and a half ago. He's barely gotten to sleep, and now this thing is honking at him over and over and over for 30 minutes, just honking. And I can see both them jerks' heads just sitting out there at that desk. And I said, nobody was up at the time, but I sent a message to family saying, a complaint. And I said it then, and I'll say it now. You cannot make me understand what was going on with that. You cannot make me understand that they were just making sure, seeing this is a test. We'll see how low it goes. Because it's honking in the room. The nurse the night before specifically, I don't know if I thought you could turn down or silent those monitors in the room. I don't know why she didn't, if there's a possibility that if that's a thing you can do. But, and then he said, when I said that, he gets up and he said, because I said, I know we're trying to wean him off the oxygen, but all I can say is last night when this started happening like this, the nurse finally came in and put the oxygen back on him. That honking noise is ridiculous. And he said, he hadn't stood up yet. Well, he kind of had stood up, but was still standing behind that desk. And he goes, the nurse put the oxygen back on him. Like, I just lied. And I said, well, you could check the records. You could check her notes from last night. And then I looked at that little dude sitting in that, he hadn't got off his butt yet either, supposed to be in charge of everything, and he's just looking back down at his computer. I don't know what he's looking at. You ain't looking at monitors. I was mad. I'm not going to lie, I was mad. I was like, last night I wished I was a gazillionaire and had my kid at home with... Guess I'm going to start coughing again. I'm so mad. He finally got some sleep. I didn't. I laid there mad half the night, thinking about them just out there, sitting at that. I don't know what they're looking at. Maybe they're playing games. Maybe they're looking at everybody else's monitor. There's a lot of sick people in there now that wasn't there before. And maybe Levi's not the sickest, but he's still a patient. And I'm just thinking, how do you expect a patient to sleep with that thing blaring? Either get up and come turn it down, get up and come turn it off because you can see it from in there, or get up and come put his oxygen back on it, give it back to him so he can get a decent night's sleep. I'm not going to have oxygen at home. I mean, I guess I could try to have oxygen at home. I could do that, but he doesn't need to continuously to live on that if he doesn't need to live on it. And I'm fully aware that our oxygen drops at night. I understand that. But then if that's the case and you're monitoring him out there, then just turn this thing off. Because to me, that's just a sad, breaking your heart thing too, when your kid constantly tells you, I'm okay, Mom. I'm okay. And he doesn't even know what he's saying okay to. He don't know if he's getting a good breath or not. Because he doesn't know. I was so mad. I'm still so mad. And he's still there. I don't know why he's still there. Because I come out of there to come up here to get Levi's bacon and sausage for breakfast. And he's still leaned up against that counter. And I'm just like, I want to be like Pamela Pumpkin and squash, kick him. Squash and kick him. Squash him. I'm Pamela Pumpkin. Squash and kick him. That's what I want to do, seeing him stand there. I did not like him. Oh. Well, I've had a rant. I haven't had a rant. I haven't had a rant since all this is going on. Give all the praise to God. And I do. I give all the praise to God. Levi slept another night. He's sitting up right now. He's watching a movie. He's making lists. And he's ready for breakfast. Although he might not have slept as good tonight. Maybe. I don't know. Because he has been a little angry. He's several times he says, I can't be mad. I can't be mad. And I said, baby, what are you mad about? And, you know, he doesn't know. He's frustrated, but he doesn't know how to say, I'm frustrated because I got this on me. I just can have to take that in as his mom. He's frustrated because of the hose coming out of him. Because I do know this. When I said, look, sometime today, I think they're going to take that hose out of you, and then you won't have to deal with it. He goes, and these other hoses too, meaning IVs. And I said, well, baby, you're going to have the IVs until we leave. And listen to me, even when we go home, they're either going to teach Mama how to hook up your IV, or they're going to send a nurse to the house to give you an IV every day. That's the only way I can explain it to him. I said, that IV that's coming into you with that has your antibiotic in it, because you have to have a very strong antibiotic, and it comes into you through an IV. And he goes, I'm going to have it at home. And I said, yes, you are, baby, just for a little, because I don't like home. So he's frustrated too. So, anyway. Tomorrow will be 2 solid weeks. And my heart just goes out to the people that have been months in hospitals and stuff, because it's if you're a grown adult, it would still be frustrating, but you get why you're there and you understand the procedures and everything that's happening. But if you're not, and you're like Levi or a child, you just don't get it, and you don't know why you're hooked to this, and you want to be unhooked for this, and you can't move. And my heart breaks for him, and my heart breaks for anybody that's in the hospitals for this long or longer, because I don't see how they can. I praise God I've got, Steph and Mom and Tina have given me little breaks to run home for a little bit every now and then. But Levi doesn't get a break right now. Anyway. Alright. Pray we have somebody different tonight. Or pray they move him to a different floor. Because I don't think I can do this dude again tonight. They're 12 hours on. At least you only have to deal with him at night. But still, if they take that tube out, I wouldn't have to deal with the nurses hardly at all. I can scoot him out of bed. I mean, he would be the same as when we were in the other room where we just rolled his thing to the potty. He's just got a potty chair. You just roll it over there, just like we went and rolled him into the bathroom in the other room. It's this tube that is the problem. I'm not supposed to be messing with the tube. My nose is itching, I'm sorry. The hospital air is very dry. I've noticed that my sinuses are very dry. Anyway, I gotta get gas and get him food. I'll see you guys later. Love y'all. God bless you. Keep praying for him. Pray you don't have this guy again.